Hi, I'm Emily Bellue. I teach at the East Feliciana STEAM Academy in the East Feliciana Public School District. This is my fifth year teaching. I taught for 3 years in Mississippi, and I've always worked in ELA with fourth or sixth grade students. I've always had a passion for education. Now, whether or not that was always encouraged by those around me, it was always something I had to fight and prove why I want to do this, why I was so passionate about education. I have many family members that are in the education field. And know the struggles and the tolls that it takes on you emotionally, physically, all of that. And they just really were trying to encourage me to choose a different path. Not that I wasn't fit or suited for education. They just felt like I could choose something better. And in my opinion, there's nothing better. I've always loved what I do. I love working with kids. I love seeing them grow and learn and feel confident in themselves. Because it was always something I wasn't given. When I was in school, I always struggled. I was always compared to those around me, compared to my brothers, sisters, things. They never struggled, so why do I struggle? And so I fell way behind. My senior year of high school, I ended up going a couple extra nights a week for a couple hours just for tutoring, just trying to close gaps that were tremendous and lots of basics that I was missing. So I always said I didn't want to make another student feel that way. I didn't want to make them feel like they couldn't learn. I wanted to provide them with the tools and the necessities they needed for learning, and I always wanted them to feel welcome and loved in my classroom. For today's lesson, we'll be using the Louisiana Curriculum Guidebooks. We are on the Hatchet unit. We are in Hatchet section 4, lesson 4. For this unit, they will be comparing the two texts, looking at the characters' challenges and what they face and how they react to these challenges. I have my students grouped. I have 5 students in my class that have 504s, and I have them grouped high and low so they can work together and learn from one another.
So yesterday we read 2 chapters in Hatchet, correct?
Yes.
Okay, who can give me a brief overview of what we read? Maybe some of us weren't here for the whole thing. So who can tell me a little bit about that, Brandon?
What's Brian? Wait. Whatever his name is,
Brian.
he learned how to spot birds so he can catch them and eat them.
Okay, anything else?
Oh.
Chelsea?
He improved his shelter.
His shelter, that's a good one. Anything else?
He learned patience
You learn patience. How do you learn patience?
by waiting for the bird.
Waiting for the birds. Anything else? Did you learn any lessons? Why did he have to improve his shelter?
Because a skunk got to his food.
A skunk? And what does a skunk do? What do skunks do? Naya?
They spray you with that stinky stuff that they have for protection.
Okay. And then spray Brian, correct. What does Brian do after that? Michaela?
He runs to the lake
Runs to the lake, why?
to wash out his eyes.
Wash out his eyes, it's burning, it stinks, all that. What happens while he's doing that?
The animals come in his shelter and steal out his food.
What food?
The food that he was storing.
I think we might be mixing up the 2 books. The turtle eggs, because Brian didn't have a whole lot of food yet, because he was still learning how to fish and all that, but the turtle eggs was his main source of food, and the skunk dug them up and ate them. Okay? So today, look over here, these are our lesson objectives. It says, can I explain how Brian and Sam react to a similar challenge? So if we are looking at similar, we're comparing, good. So we're talking about similar challenges and what their reactions reveal about their character, okay? And you're going to have to write a thesis. Your thesis comes in what paragraph? Your first, which is your introduction, okay? So we're going to first talk about some challenges they faced and how they react to them, and then we're going to compare them, okay? That is what your paragraphs are going to be doing. You're going to be comparing the way that they react and if their situations are the same. If we were talking about how they are different, what would you be doing?
Contrast.
You'd be contrasting, good. So you all have a set of sticky notes. You only have one pack because you're going to be working in groups. Okay? I want you to think about some challenges, okay, that Brian faced. We're going to start with Brian. So we're going to call them mistakes. Okay? What are some mistakes that he made in that chapter? Jot it down on your sticky note, and whoever, I don't care who comes and puts it up here, you're going to put it on this side, okay? Alright, and then we're going to talk about what he learns from that mistake, okay? Does that make sense? Are there any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, we're going to do Brian first, and then we're going to talk about Sam, okay? Are there any questions about that? Alright, I want you to take a couple seconds, talk in your groups. You have the book if you need to look back at chapters. You can look at 14 or 15, okay? You can look at chapters 14 or 15. I want you to take a couple minutes. If you need help, I'll be circulating around. We're looking at what? His mistakes that he made, okay? So right now we're just looking at the mistakes that he made. So you go to chapter, I would start with 14.
He was impatient. I think that was in chapter 15. He should have had left him. He should have hidden his turtle eggs instead of leaving them out so the skunks could get them.
Okay. He did. No, he said that he should have hid them so nothing could get to him.
But didn't the skunk dig up the
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, so what mistake would come from that though?
But he did get up to say
not hiding his food?
Okay, so how are you going to tie that together? I think you're on the right.
That's another mistake he made.
So what y'all got going?
Oh, we said, yeah, Alex said that he should have hid his own eggs in a better spot so nothing could get to him.
Okay. So is that what y'all are going to go with? Is that what y'all are going with?
Another mistake. I thought we were writing down my name.
You can. You can. So what do you have going?
I put Brian was impatient.
Okay.
That he made.
Now think about it, guys. Whatever mistake that you're writing down, you have to be able to go back and support with your text evidence, okay? It has to be something you can prove with the chapter. What are we working on? We got someone writing, but I haven't heard any talking. What's your writing, Brandon?
The mistake when Brian was looking for how the birds were moving instead of what they looked like.
Okay. So what does he learn from that?
To look for the shape of the bird so we can find them easier.
Okay. Do y'all agree with that? I haven't heard a lot of discussion going on. I know.
I think it was 14.
Javira, do you agree with that? Do y'all find other mistakes? You agree? Or do you find something else? So is that a mistake throwing it at this comment? So what does he learn from that?
We learned not to make it mad.
Not to make it mad? Alright, so whenever you have something written down you want to put on the chart, you can.
Right here. What he said, he said, get out of here. The records are saying there were some silly words. But in this, they have a sentence.
They look at different,
The skunk has snapped his rear end up, curved the tail over, and sprayed Brian with a direct shot aimed at his head from less than a feet
You don't have to cite this, we're just jotting down ideas right now. This isn't anything that you're having to pull directly from the text.
S. ST.
Alright, once you get something written down, I need you to put it on the chart for me.
Skunk. Skunk. Skunk or skunk? Skunk. You said skunk or skunk? You said skunk. Alex, put it on. Let's stop. Okay, so y'all done your mistake. So what did you learn from that mistake? You go ahead and start on the other side. Wait. Alright, if you've all. Okay. So once you have your mistake, you need to start talking about what did you learn from it. What did you do differently? Okay.
I put Brian through sand at the stump and it spread him. Brian left himself skunk has a K at the end. Not a T.
You said it had a T.
I ain't say nothing.
I think it's T.
Alright, if you are not onto the what you learned from it side, I need you moving on.
The lesson objectives for today's lesson were: can students explain how Brian and Sam react to a similar challenge and what their reactions reveal about their character? And can I develop and clearly communicate a thesis statement that compares text and represents valid and evidence-based analysis? So for this lesson, I had them grouped. They all had sticky notes and we filled out a T-chart. We focused on what challenges they both faced. Now, there may be some that are similar, there may be some that are different, but we made sure to really drive the ways that they were facing similar challenges. And then we talked about the ways that they react to these challenges. So you'll see that in the groups, they were able to recognize that they both faced issues with animals getting into their food supplies and endangering their chances of survival. So then they had to reflect on what they learned from these challenges or mistakes. And so then once they focused on, well, they learned that they need to fix their shelters, they need to have better places to store their food, they need to have more sources of food, things like that. Then we came together and started working on our introduction paragraph where they had to form their claims, and they're able to say, yes, they both face many challenges, and as far as what their food storage being endangered, and then talk about what they then needed to do in order to prevent this from happening again. Now, we did have some groups didn't really want to discuss as much as others. Some went above and beyond and found multiple ways that they were challenged. But ultimately, we were able to come back together and write the introduction. And then, not shown in the video, we moved on to their body paragraphs, where then on their own, they've got to show to me, well, this is what they faced. This is how I know that they faced this challenge. And then explain to me how the evidence shows it, and then support with another piece of evidence how they react to that challenge.